Well, Ashley's ode to Elle Woods from Legally Blonde, it paid off for her. I mean, while I was never a fan of Ashley's, I have to admit that her stint as an attorney served her very well. Because for the interview from the jury and her closing speech, I mean, as an attorney, that's a huge part of it. You have to be able to have a very convincing closing argument to win the case. And boy, can that woman talk. But every point in her closing speech, it was true. I mean, she did flow through the game by being just as she stated, staying in the center lane the entire game. She was able to be likable to most of the guests and be a bit obnoxious to some of the guests. She was a target, but not a serious one or a huge target. I mean, the ability to latch on to a likable house guest like Rachel, which she was able to use her as a shield, and then smoothly transition to another once Rachel was voted out. That is a skill. I mean, Ashley was not liked by Vince. She wasn't liked by Keanu, and she was not liked by Ava initially because remember Ava said her aura was off and that she talked too much and she didn't trust her. But during the course of the game, she managed to get on their good side, not only along the way, but at the most opportune time without appearing to betray her allies. The only negative I could say about that gameplay was that she campaigned against Mickey when she really shouldn't have. But during the jury interview session, you could see Vince's face was full of fear, and you could pinpoint the moment when he knew he was not going to take home that $750,000 cash prize. I mean, Vince's responses to the questions were just like his responses in the Big Brother house because he first stated his crime was not manipulative, that it was genuine and sincere because he found out that he was an emotional guy after all. But come on, let's get real. We all saw several times when he spoke directly into the Big Brother cam that he was going to turn on the waterworks to get himself out of the jam he put himself in. But during his final speech, he said that part of his social game was being very manipulating and lying to everyone. And then he attributed his winning the four HOHs as being a social skill. That's not a social skill. That was actually a comp skill. He was able to win those comps, which placed him as HOH. To me, Vince had zero social skill. The only reason, and I repeat, the only reason he remained in the game was because this set of house guests, and I don't mean anything bad, but this set of house guests, they were very weak players. And they were all too afraid to actually play the game because his sitting in one of the final two seats was strictly due to the weak players. And towards the end, the blocking by the lovesick Morgan. And then for Morgan, I got to hand it to her. Her infatuation with Vince was enduring. I mean, even knowing that Vince was no phenomenal player, she still voted for him. She was the only vote for him. I would love to be around to see the reunion between Vince and his girlfriend and him trying to explain what was going on between him and Morgan because that's going to be one very interesting conversation. And he's probably going to use the same tactic he used when he was inside the Big Brother house. And then it would also be interesting to see how Morgan will try to insinuate herself in Vince's life with his girlfriend around and then try to convince the girlfriend that she wants nothing more than friendship for him. Because make no mistake, that woman, Morgan, she is not going to give Vince up without a fight. She's just not. Morgan says that she's just a friend, but I'm not buying it. I don't think anybody else who watched the game is buying that. That girl is in love, or at least she is very seriously infatuated with Vince. I have to admit that I am very relieved that Morgan did not win. I did not want her to win at all. I didn't want her in the final three, and I didn't want her in the final two seats because I didn't like her game. She only won those comps towards the end because they were designed towards her. They were more like gamer uh, comps that she played toward the end, which is why she kept winning back to back. Um, from day one, and I'll tell you why, because from day one, she made a final with Mickey, and then they included Jimmy, which made them the trio. But then she went and formed a separate alliance with Vince, Jimmy, and Zach. And then even later, during the stay in the house, she made two additional alliances. But in none of those three other alliances did she include her girl Mickey. And I think it was because she saw that Mickey was a player. Because tonight, Morgan stated that she would have stuck with the trio to the end, and she did not. She said she saw something off, but what she saw off with Mickey, I don't know. Yes, Jimmy, but not Mickey, because Mickey continuously backed Morgan, and she even convinced Ava not to put Morgan on the block during Ava's HOH. What I saw from Morgan was that she recognized how good Mickey's social game was and how she could win comps. And from then on, she headed in to get Mickey out of the house. I wanted Julie, and then I wanted Julie to ask Zach and Lauren about their attraction to each other, but she didn't. During season 26, the last season, she asked all of the other guests that were non-jurors questions, but she didn't include any of the other house guests other than Riley, Catherine, and Jimmy. I don't know why she didn't question any of the others. And that was strange to me because, like I said, she questioned all of the non-jury house guests last season. And I really, really wanted to get those non-jury house guests' take on how they viewed how the game was played for the rest of the season. And for me, I was ecstatic that my boy Keanu won favorite house guest, as he should have. He really should have won the game. My favorite, my personal favorite, was always Keanu, and I was heavily rooting for him to take the win and wanted him to be in the final three. But favorite house guest was a good consolation prize, as it meant he didn't go home without the additional 50 grand. Yay, Keanu. And I must say, for this season, while I am a fan of Big Brother, I was really disappointed with this season. The players were weak. No one other than Keanu was really playing the game. Most of the house guests were just lounging on the furniture. The only reason that the game progressed was due to eviction night. Had it not been for nominations and eviction night, every single one of the house guests would have still remained in the house at the end of the 83 days. And that's no cap. If you were watching the same game I was watching. But here's hoping next summer for season 28, we'll get some house guests that will actually play the game, that will actually show strategy, that will actually have some social skills, that are actually comp beasts. And that will make for a very entertaining and very exciting game. Well, until next summer, it's Paprika out.